pleased to welcome James to ISL in a new role of Specialist Employment Advisor. Just chatting to James today a little about his role and the ways in which he'll be supporting us here at ISL. Thanks for making the time today, James. Could you tell me a bit about your role at ISL and how you'll be supporting the teams?
Yeah, certainly. Already the team at ISL are already doing very well in certain areas about helping their clients get into employment. And I've been asked to try and help them to develop that a little further.
And what is supported employment in your view? And what does that word encompass?
Supported employment takes that a step further. So as well as doing all the preparation work and helping the individual to be ready for work, then the supported employment side is going along to the interviews and supporting the client at the interview. When the client starts work, it's going into the workplace and helping them in the workplace to settle in. It's helping the employer and being there to support the employer as well. But with the intention and the aim of being to gradually reduce your support to the point where the client can become independent, but knowing there's a background support available if problems crop up. And the same for the employer, knowing if there is a problem, then there is potential somebody can come in and help them to resolve those difficulties.
And what would you say the benefits are of supported employment, both to the individual and the employer?
For the client or the individual, it's very much a case of knowing there's somebody around to help them. Confidence is lacking for so many people, no matter what their background and what their circumstances, and knowing there's somebody who's available to them for the long term to help them at all aspects. But the employer, again, it's that reassurance. All employees, or most employees at some point, have some difficulties, and in most cases they can resolve it themselves with the employer. But somebody with certain additional needs sometimes struggle with that. And the benefit to the employer is knowing that there's somebody to whom they can go to get help with any difficulties that may be encountered.
What would you say some of the main challenges are to successful supported employment, and how can these be overcome?
Employers regularly have far more people applying for work than they need. So they have a ready pool of regularly ready to work, ready to start individuals with experience and skills. So really breaking down that barrier and giving the employer a reason to want to employ somebody with a disability who needs extra work perhaps is a big barrier. That can be overcome by building long-term relationships with the employer, really sort of reassuring them that you're going to be there for the long term and you're not just going to place somebody with them and then leave them to it. There are many case studies, examples showing how people with disabilities actually bring additional benefits to an employer over far and above what they may expect. One employer with whom we worked in a previous role, and they offered a client some paid work in their finance team. And he didn't really have much of a background in finances. He could manage the essential stuff, not very much more. And they adapted the role to suit him, which was perfect. But he sat there and he went through all their instructions on how to do things. And to his mind, it was a completely pointless exercise what they were doing. They seemed to be wasting so much time doing things for the sake of doing it. And he had the confidence to talk to them about what he'd found. And they took a fresh look at it and they realised that it was actually right. And they rewrote all their guidance, all their instructions, and made their whole operation in that particular part of the office much more efficient. Proved a real success.
Okay. And how would you say that employers can be encouraged and supported to have a positive approach to supported employment?
The first instance really is to talk to them, make them fully aware of what it is you can offer and some advantages to employing people with disabilities. And if you can talk about people like the chap I just mentioned beforehand with the finance processes and show them how that can be an advantage to them, that's a really good starting point. Another good way of doing things is, if the employer is willing to be involved, is to invite them along to a information session. These can be done online so that the employees don't have to travel too far, and they can be kept short so they don't need to spend too much time travelling. But then at that session, they can have information made available to them, questions and answers. And if you have some of your own clients there, more confident, positive ones who are capable and confident of talking on networking events, invite them along as well so they can actually give their perspective. That in itself can make a big difference to employing people as well.
Okay, thanks, James. Well, thank you for that overview today. That sounds really positive, and we look forward to working with you over the next few months at ISL.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it myself.